What the heck flex? What
Because
the heck?
I get like, that's a wrap, and you're like, oh, we got what the heck flex. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay.
But it's ever popular, Cecil.
Ah, that's right. The ever popular what the heck flex. Well, to get there, we got to start. So let's do this thing.
You got a team, here's a word to the wise. You want to dominate your league? Go to football, guys.
Football, I'm living in a fantasy. Football, got everybody mad at me. Football, cause every game I had to win. Football, I gotta be a champion. Football, I'm living in a fantasy.
It is part 2 of the Week 11 preview here on the Audible. It's Cecil, Lammey, and Sigmund Bloom, and it is Tennessee and Jacksonville. I got to triple check my handwriting now, Bloom. But the Titans side, no Traylon Burks, so more Kyle Phillips in this one. And, well, what's the scoop on Will Levis? And will Jacksonville try to just beat up on their divisional opponent by shutting down the ground game and forcing the quarterback to beat him?
Yeah, I think that for Jacksonville, this is a very important game. Tennessee making the move to Will Levis, already looking to the future. But you love to play spoiler these divisional games. You never know. But Will Levis slowing down after that auspicious debut. There was that nice moment there, Cease, when everyone said, wow, look at that. C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. Of course, one of these things don't belong with the others. Trevor Lawrence, the divisional AFC South Division quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, but Will Levis, the bloom is off the rose. That being said, Derrick Henry against Jacksonville, usually very good. Okay. 4 straight games over 100, 1,113 touchdowns over his last 8 games. I think he has more games with multiple touchdowns against Jacksonville over the last 8 than games without a touchdown. So maybe this is a get-right game for Derrick Henry. This is a game where we're a barometer. Are we even going to play Nuke Hopkins going forward? Maybe we'll play Jacksonville's defense. Been pretty good for fantasy. But for Jacksonville, again, this is a team that all of a sudden, looking right over their shoulder, there's Houston, there's Indianapolis. So you can't afford to lose a game to the Titans if you want to go back to the playoffs.
Bloom, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to do an exercise with you. And think of any Derrick Henry highlight, and it's going to be against Jacksonville, right?
Right. On a Thursday night. Oh, wait.
His best plays, 99-yarders, like that happens.
Let's get a Henry touchdown. Isn't it time for a Henry touchdown pass, a jump pass?
Something, man. Mix it up. And Jacksonville side, isn't it time for, I don't know. There's complications.
Speaking of mix it up, yeah.
Yeah. There's complications with the Zay Jones thing. So we'll dance around that and then talk about actual on the field production. Okay, Jacksonville, we know you're definitely on the track for playoffs, but man alive, you got to look better to get there.
Yeah, and the definitely part is questionable.
Right.
They had won 4 straight going into the bye and really got humbled at home by San Francisco. So this is a game, but like you say, with the offense, I mean, this is a little bit better, but it sort of feels like the Steelers' offense, right? They're not going to threaten downfield, even with Calvin Ridley. They're not going to take chances. Even the running game, while it's been productive in terms of touchdowns for Travis Etienne, hasn't really gotten on track. At least the Steelers have that going for them. It's a boring offense. And you bring up Zay Jones. And remember, I think it was after his rookie year, he had a mental health incident, right? It was really kind of dark. So, I mean, not necessarily connecting these two things, but we know on the field, Zay Jones, this offense, for it to realize its potential and ideal, Zay Jones needed to be out there. And I don't know if he's going to be out there again this year. So Christian Kirk, yes. Calvin Ridley, on paper, this is a matchup he should be able to win. But at the same time, this is not a team that has consistently been throwing downfield, even consistently trying to throw downfield. Again, think Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's Kirk and Travis Etienne, because Tennessee's probably not going to run away from Jacksonville. So Etienne's going to get his workload. But again, Jacksonville really needs this game, or all of a sudden, we may be talking about C.J. Stroud starting a playoff game. Heck, maybe even Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. It's excitement. It's craziness. And speaking of Stroud, it's Cardinals and Texans, but he's got to get past Kyler Murray first. And what are we thinking here with Kyler Murray? Because it was exciting to see him back, injection of energy again with the Cardinals offense. And well, this time traveling to Houston, does that continue? Or when we get to the Houston side, will they just run roughshod over the Cardinals.
This is fun. This is a great game. I mean, playoff implications maybe aren't large here, but I like the idea of watching Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud play football in the year 2023, and this could turn into a quarterback duel. Couldn't we see something really special here for fantasy? And I'm really looking forward to Kyler Murray in his second week. And the important thing is he looked like Kyler Murray. He was doing Kyler Murray things. He was comfortable in his body. He trusted his body. That's exciting. That's exciting for fantasy. That's exciting for just entertainment value of football. James Conner looked good in his first week back from IR. I do think this is a bounce back game for Marquise Brown. Remember, he was facing AJ Terrell last week. But that being said, Kyler Murray out there makes us a little more interested in Michael Wilson. Maybe not Rondale Moore, but he could do more in an offense that has more possibilities. And of course, we're interested in Trey McBride. Cease, did you have Trey McBride as one of the fantasy stories of 2023 on your bingo card this year?
No, because Zertz was in his way. So now that he's not,
Yeah.
bingo.
Clear for takeoff. Colorado State Rams, baby. And no, we're not going to get questions about him as Kyler Murray's favorite target. That could be the obstacle for Marquise Brown, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of obstacles to scoring really when either team has the ball. And I'm really excited to see, with all this attention, there's some players, maybe the attention, the hype may make them look down or stumble. I feel like CJ Stroud is just going to grow with all the expectations getting higher.
Well, and that's the thing with Stroud, and we regularly blow bubbles at him. Very well deserved, by the
Yeah.
way. Leads the NFL with 43 completions at 20 or more yards. So that's why and I don't know if there's necessarily naysayers, Bloom, and obviously something like Twitter is absolutely irrelevant. So when people say, well, he's got the most off-target passes in the league, which he does, it's because he's throwing deep.
Right.
Oh my God, watch the film, everybody. I cannot stand when people go overboard with stats. That's a rant I might save for a later date, Bloom, that you might hear. But yeah, the stats, baby. Come on, throw them out the window. It's CJ Stroud. Now, will they run the ball more? Have they finally unlocked Singletary? Like, how many years has it been? We've been waiting.
Yep.
Hey, he's actually going to play and be good. And then we look to the weapons in the passing game, including the unstoppable Noah Brown.
Right. Yeah, with CJ Stroud and that statistic you cited, I mean, that's a CJ Stroud statistic, but I think it's a Bobby Slowick statistic. It's a statistic of an organization that was not afraid to put the quarterback out on the ledge, allow him to play at the edge of his abilities, as a contrast to Carolina and Bryce Young. But I think CJ Stroud, top 5, top 7 fantasy quarterback this week against Arizona. Yes. And again, I think this is that kind of game that could turn into, what did we have last week with the Chargers and the Lions? 41-38. It was a second half, which is touchdown, 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 touchdown. I think we could see a game like that unfold in this one. And some of that could be Devin Singletary. The leaves are changing colors, and Devin Singletary is reminding his team that he's actually pretty good at football, and he's generating fantasy value. I don't even know if Dameon Pierce is going to play. We know we're going to play Dalton Schultz. We're going to play Tank Dell. Nico Collins is back at practice. I think if we can see him get a full practice, at least not be a game time decision, may not be expecting him to be not listed on the injury report. And no, Brown also missed practice. So I think with Brown and Collins, you want to play them in this matchup. You want to find a way to get them in your lineup. You want to make sure that they're healthy and they're active. And if it's a game time decision, you're probably going to look elsewhere just because that adds more risk, although it could make one of the other targets more valuable. And again, I just want to bask in this, the Texans. The Houston Texans, one of the most exciting teams to watch, one of the most exciting teams for fantasy football, maybe even a playoff team.
Maybe. I want to bask in the glory of Mike Evans. I love him. I remember when I was at the Indianapolis airport leaving the combine, and I was overweight, Bloom, so naturally had like snoring problems, like bad snoring problems. So I'm sleeping in the airport, And next thing I know, somebody's clowning me, like kind of making fun of me and like, doing an impression of me snoring. It was Mike Evans. And I
Yeah.
woke up and, we'd talked because we had talked at the podium. But just think about it. He's never not had 1,000 yards. Think
Right.
about that. It's, huh? And then it doesn't matter the quarterback, whether they're great or not great or Baker Mayfield or whatever. It's like, I want to bask in the glory of Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of figured out Rashad White. It's kind of the, that'll do, pig. He's not a pig, but like it's like, oh, it's enough. It's enough. It's maybe not the more that we want with Rashad White, but it's enough. The mystery of K. Dotton. Like against the 49ers, they're going to need all hands on decks. Buccaneers, 49ers. Let's start Tampa Bay side first.
Yeah. And I think to put a punctuation mark on your talk of Mike Evans there, we're watching a Hall of Fame career, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
for
think.
sure. For sure.
And we're in that last part of it where he still plays like a Hall of Famer. Last week, he put on a Hall of Famer kind of game against that secondary. Tennessee against San Francisco secondary might be a little bit harder. Just everything might be harder. This is a game to see if Tampa can make a late run with Baker Mayfield for a playoff spot, or maybe even if the Saints fade to host a playoff game. Not necessarily saying they're going to win, but you want to see how they measure up against a very hot San Francisco defense that you might want to have in your lineup for fantasy. But I do think Rashad White is going to give you at least the PPR points, even though the running game's not going to be there. Mike Evans, he's the one with the chemistry with Baker Mayfield. It's Chris Godwin who's been disappointing. So if you were fading Tampa receivers because of Baker Mayfield, you were right. If it was Chris Godwin, you were wrong. If it was Mike Evans, such is fantasy football. And like you said, K. Dotton, this is a tough matchup. Even if he's a struggle target, what did Evan Ingram have last week? Like 4 for 15. So I don't know if this is going to be a Cade Otton week. I do know that this should be a Purdy week for the San Francisco offense.
Yeah, Purdy. It looks pretty out there, and you can get it done. And with George Kittle, you're just like, can you do that big play again? It can happen at any time. So you already know the names. You already know the games. And at home, 49ers climbing back up, saying, no. We stumbled a little bit, but you know what? We're still the best team in the league. Let's see if they can prove it on Sunday against the Bucks.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you introduced that, Cease, because what we appreciate, I was talking about this on the couch, fantasy football players, if you're in redraft leagues, you're trying to make a Hail Mary. If your team is like 4-6, you're trying to reinforce your lineup, your bench. If you're on the way to the playoffs, in dynasty leagues, you're either selling assets or trading assets. It's an active time in if you're a fantasy player, this is a time that your juices should be flowing. And that's how San Francisco, that's how John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan approached this, right? They're not sitting back. Again, Randy Gregory. Okay, give us Chase Young. They're not sitting back. They're making that push. And the team really responded against against Jacksonville, and they should against Tampa Bay. So Brock Purdy, same as always. Remember, with Trent Williams, with Deebo Samuel, with George Kittle, with Brandon Ayuk, with Christian McCaffrey, he's a high floor quarterback one, maybe not a high ceiling quarterback one, although he has added some value as a receiver. I'm sorry, as a runner at times. You're probably going to get McCaffrey 3 touchdowns to make up for not getting him one to keep his record going, but Kittle's in, Ayuk's in, Samuel's in. Samuel was a runner scoring last week. And they're back. This team is back. And we're going to get to see them play some better teams than Tampa coming up. But I think this could be a game that shows us that they are, like you said, separating themselves again from the pack.
Yeah, they can do it. Get hot at the right time or be Buffalo. I got so many things to say about Buffalo. I know Bills Mafia is mad at me, but Bloom, I think I know too much. Because I tell the truth about Josh Allen. Josh, you're not in that upper tier quarterbacks, dude. But the stats show, like, yeah, go win. And we're skipping the Jets side, like, whatever. I suppose we should talk about the Jets. Jets and Bills, Bloom. Let's talk about the New York Jets side. But, like, if we look at the schedule before the season, we're like, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, a fight in the AFC East and, Super Bowl on the line. And now it's just like Bills aren't in the playoff hunt. You fire Ken Dorsey. Okay, what kind of... I just want to skip the Jets side. Like, seriously. I want to get to the Bills side because they're so damn disappointing. You've got all the talent in the world. You don't use James Cook. I had a buddy of mine text me about some starting lineup stuff and it included James Cook. I was like, well, he ain't starting Cook because they don't use him. or he fumbles and then they just completely go away from him. So, yeah, bring up the Jets if you'd like, Bloom. I
Yeah, sure.
believe we're watching a Garrett Wilson injury. Now I'm adjusting my brain, right? They got rid of Michael Carter. Got rid of Michael Carter. Yeah. And I'm like, if I'm a team like Denver, it's a Broncos show. I'd pick up Carter. Anyway,
Yeah,
so like,
Arizona claimed him actually.
oh, Arizona did. Okay, good. I hadn't seen that yet this morning. Waking up with the Audible, but Bloom, talk a little bit of Jets, but let's get to this Bill side because this is the frustrating part. Now,
Yeah.
do they respond and kick the crap out of him? Sorry, Joe. And YouTube just demonetized us. We'll be fine. Like, I'm anxious to see. You have no room for error.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have
Right.
no room, no more mulligans, no more, hey, we stumbled. Oh my gosh, we got Josh Allen, everybody. Josh, you got to be better. Stop turning over the flipping ball. Anyway.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when the Broncos win. Then I go off on other teams. I love Josh Allen. I do. I just, it's just disgusting. The performance this year and the results, because it's a results-based business, have been disgusting.
Yeah. Well, let me get the Jets talk out of the way, and then we should dig in. This is the story of the week. The Bills. This is the story of the week for sure. With the Jets, Zach Wilson starting to run a little bit. Buffalo defense not exactly that impressive. So as a low-end quarterback 2 super flex, Zach Wilson could work out. Breece Hall's in your lineup. Garrett Wilson as long as he's on the field in your lineup. Tyler Conklin. Although more Jeremy Ruckert. Which probably means more running. He's a good run blocker. He can also make it happen as a receiver. But the Jets, well, here's the thing. You mentioned it, Cecil. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Super Bowl implications, playoff implications, division championship implications. That was week 1. That was the story going into week 1. And we all remember what happened next. Snap, right? The Jets won that game.
Yeah.
The Jets won that game.
Yeah.
That was when this all really started for the Bills, right? The underachieving, the losing games that are very winnable. So it's all revisited in Buffalo this time. And the Jets still, with Robert Saleh, I promise you, until they're mathematically eliminated, the Jets believe they're going to the playoffs. The Jets believe they can beat anybody. It doesn't matter. Too bad they didn't get Joshua Dobbs or something like that. Andy Dalton at quarterback, but they're with Zach Wilson, and they can win with Zach Wilson at quarterback. No problem. They've done it against Buffalo. But for Buffalo, Cease, as I'll hand it back to you to intro Buffalo, give you some more bandwidth, just to keep the rhythm the same. It's like a song, chorus, verse. Are they really about? Because look at the schedule. This is a must-win game. When you look at the schedule, they only get tougher from here in the next few weeks. And Josh Allen ended up working out. This is a team member who they traded down with, who was taken with the pick they traded down. It was Patrick Mahomes, right? So it's okay because they got Josh Allen. It's okay because, they 13 seconds, right? They should have beat Kansas City in Kansas City. It was right there. And you could come out of that game saying, okay, they made a mistake in the last 13 seconds. They just didn't finish, but they went into Kansas City. They took Kansas City's best punch and they beat them. They just didn't finish the game. So that's okay. Unfinished business, right? Unfinished business. We had the stuff with DeMar Hamlin last year. Certainly, we can't discount that. Teams are families. Teams are an organism with a shared consciousness. But it's all going downhill now, Cease. You get the feeling that if they lose this game, they're probably going to miss the playoffs. And if they miss the playoffs, is the Super Bowl window closed? Maybe it was already closed, but is this when the realization sets in that it is closed? That the Sean McDermott, Josh Allen Bills, this is as far as they're going to get. This is as close to the 13 seconds. That's as close they're going to get to the Super Bowl. That's depressing. That's really depressing. And I think what it sets up is a true gut check game for this organization, for Allen, for McDermott, for this organization. And yeah, you can say injury luck, and you can say, well, this, if that. Every team has that. Every team can make excuses. Every team can say if. You're in the here and now, Buffalo. What do you have in you when you know everyone's watching and you know that this could be that death scene for a team that seemed so promising?
Yeah, that should have multiple Super Bowls. We're not talking about one magical run and then, you're done. This is multiple Super Bowls already should have been had, and you don't, because Kansas City's got them, and you're sitting on Bumpkiss, and you're there with the head coach is John Fox, basically. And I love Sean McDermott, but Sean McDermott might be the guy that turned things around from the Rex Ryan era. Remember that? The bankers' hours. Even bankers are like, well, he should probably work a little more. Rex Ryan loves feet and monster trucks. That says something. Anyway, Bloom, like, and that's where the football side is different from fantasy and Josh Allen, numbers. Yeah, I hope you don't get dinged for turnovers because the dude's a turnover machine. Now, my best friend's a Bills fan. Shout out Big E. And he's already said the window's closed. This iteration, it's closing. And then they're going to have to really look in the mirror and adjust. Probably fire Sean McDermott, which I hate. Like, I don't want to see that. Josh Allen will stay in place, but you got to run the ball. And I think of seasons, Bloom. There's windows and there's seasons in football and in life. And with the Bills, and just like John Elway's career, there was a time when he was the hotness and he carried the Broncos to 3 Super Bowls and got waxed. Then there was a time he was almost traded to Washington when Tommy Maddox was drafted by Dan Reeves. Then there was a time when he was older and they started running the ball. The key for Buffalo is running the ball. I don't think they're going to run the ball. They've got all the talent to do it, and they're just not going to do it. And hey, Josh, go win everything, Josh. Like,
Right.
it's disgusting again.
Well, and it's an organizational wide issue. And I think focusing on the running game is a good place. And for fantasy, the implications here are, James Cook or Latavius Murray as a what the heck flex. Stephon Diggs in a squeaky wheel game. He did have 10 for 102 and a touchdown playing probably against Sauce Gardner in this one. So maybe Khalil Shakir is a what the heck flex. Dalton Kincaid, there's your constant, the rookie, Dalton Kincaid. Josh Allen is not an automatic start this week. You said Josh Allen or CJ Stroud, Josh Allen or Justin Fields. Josh Allen or Kyler Murray. I'm thinking about it. Not sure. It's the Jets. He had 3 interceptions against them. It's the Jets. It's one of the best defenses in the league. And a team that emotionally, I'll say this. See, so we can say, well, the Bills emotionally find the fortitude, the constitution, the toughness. I know the Jets will. I already know the Jets have that in them, right? I mean, from a gut check, can you find it in yourself to get everything you have and leave it on the field? I know the Jets have that in them. So, yeah, Josh Allen's not automatic play. And we'll see. We'll see about the running game because we talked about this on the couch with Bob Harris on the couch. And I just think, and he cited it first, but you can go back to Wyoming, and Josh Allen will try to take everything on his shoulders. Patrick Mahomes was doing it a few years ago. We talked about it, trying to score 21 points on every drive. Josh Allen will do that. I think that's why people got it twisted, got sideways with his college tape, because he was playing Nebraska, and if you're Wyoming's quarterback against Nebraska, you do have to try to do death-defying.
Well, and Tanner Gentry was his best target. Like, all apologies to Tanner Gentry. He had to do that at Wyoming because he was, and the Hollisters were there. And who was the damn center? Why am I blanking on the center's name? Washington had him for a long time. Anyway, and then Brian Hill at running back. So it's like they had some NFL talent, to be sure. Chase Roulier. So they had some NFL talent, but Josh had to do everything. It's the Josh Allen show today, Bloom. But yeah, again, I'm so disappointed in the Bills this year.
It is, well, because they're not taking any of the pressure off of him. They're not doing anything, whether it's the structure of the offense, they did do some personnel moves to set potentially things in motion to take something off of him as far as, again, if he feels like he has to do everything, he's going to stay right out there at the limit of his abilities. And it's sad, but I'm glad you brought up John Elway, because that's something that we should just put a pin in that and keep it up in the corner. That John Elway, it was already written, right? The Broncos, the Tombstone, the Elway era, they go to the Super Bowl and they get waxed. But the story can change. But sometimes it takes new coaches. Sometimes it takes a new era. And that's the part I think that Buffalo might not be ready to face, is those hard questions. But they can put that off by winning this one.
Yeah, you can tell we were chatting on that one, Bloom.
Because it's a big story. Now, look, I'm fantasy football. Yeah, that's why, that's the handshake. That's what got us all here. We're all setting our lineups and making our moves and all that stuff. And that's great. And it's a good excuse to stay obsessed with football. But I think why you show up, not to watch games like Carolina and Chicago, right? Not to watch the Jets and the Raiders, to see stories like CJ Stroud or Josh Dobbs, or on the flip side, the Josh Allen story. Maybe it's not uplifting, but they're epic Shakespearean, Dickensian scope stories that involve not just players, but whole communities, right? Legacies. And that's why we keep coming back to this.
Yeah. Yep. And I look back at the K-Gun days because, again, talking to Big E, and I was like, yeah, but Thurman was the man. He was one of the greatest running backs in the game. And yeah, Jim Kelly threw a lot of interceptions. He did. And I know the game was different. So he'd throw like 25 touchdowns and 18 interceptions, but they also ran the hell out of the ball and went to 4 Super Bowls. So it's like, can you at least get to one, Josh? Like, seriously. Anyway. Oh yeah, footballguys.com. Check us out. YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah. Seattle and the LA Rams, triple checking. My God, blessed handwriting. That's an L, not a C. LA Rams. Seattle side first, Bloom. The redemption arc for Geno Smith began last week. Does it continue this week in a divisional matchup on the road against the Rams?
You think that it should, although the Rams really made him look bad in week 1. This is a rematch. Geno Smith is still a solid play, a high floor play, because that wide receiver trio is coming on. We saw it last week against Washington. Well, we see it every week against Washington. And Kenneth Walker, he's going to give max effort. You saw him break that long catch and run touchdown last week. Zach Charbonnet still on our bench, still waiting, league winner potential. Walker staying healthy. Charbonnet's out there a lot. But this is a Seattle team that just needs to hold serve, and they're going to get to go back to the playoffs. This is a game that should be winnable. But then again, back in week 1, should have been winnable, and it was not, because that was when Matthew Stafford announced, hey, he is not mentally in retirement, even if he's physically out there. He's still very competitive, and now he has Cooper Kupp back for this one. So maybe this isn't a gimme for Seattle. We'll see how Matthew Stafford's thumb responds to some rest.
Yeah, how does it respond to some rest? How does Puka Nacua look with some rest? Cooper Kupp out there slinging the rock, like, and the Rams are. I don't mean this personally. The Rams are annoying. Like, they're just gonna hang around and they're
Sure.
gonna beat you.
Right.
You let them hang around, they're gonna beat
Right.
you. So, what about this week at home? Do they beat Seattle?
Yeah, possibly. Matthew Stafford was great in week 1. Kyron Williams got the touchdowns that week. Maybe it could be Stafford this week. Certainly as a low-end quarterback 2 super flex, if that thumb is okay. And you like him in this one. What did we see last week from Washington? Sam Howell throwing to the running backs, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua aren't running backs, but Sean McVay knows how to manufacture open routes for these guys. And what I mean by comparing the two is, the strength of this Seattle defense is Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. Wow, awesome. I mean, we're right back to the Legion of Boom days with these outside corners who are long, who are fast, who are aggressive, and they're going to take away the downfield passing game. Well, that's fine if you're the Rams. That's not really the Rams. Okay, Tutu Atwell, who actually had a big week in week 1. That's the other thing, is that you can use that anticipation of we have to clamp down. And it wasn't even Kupp and Nacua week 1. They didn't even know about Nacua. The element of surprise is lost, but you think that Sean McVay, with 2 weeks to prepare, a very, very familiar opponent, is going to be able to have some success with Matthew Stafford. And maybe you even like a Darrell Henderson as a what the heck flex, Royce Freeman as a what the heck flex, because the running game was so productive back in week 1. So yeah, I think this is a game that has, like you said, it's annoying because this was a Rams team that was supposed to be rebuilding, but they're hanging around and ready to spoil some seasons.
You're ready to spoil. Are you ready for me to upset you, Bloom? Are you ready to be hurt?
But why am I sad? Geez, never. I mean, always,
Okay.
actually.
All right. Josh Dobbs is a good story. Josh Dobbs is not a good quarterback. Now, there's ways
Yeah.
to adjust things around him, but this is we all love the story. We love the story. Love just him, his personality, his response to everything. It's Minnesota and Denver. And this isn't because of the Broncos show and you're a Broncos homer. I'm not a Broncos fan. I don't know why everyone gets that confused. But
At
anyway,
least they
like,
got the association right, Cease. At least they're not saying, "Oh yeah, when I think of Cecil Lammey, I think of the Indianapolis Colts." You know?
Baltimore would be
Yeah.
a nightmare for me. But anyway, like, okay, on the road, how does the story continue? Perhaps the return of Justin Jefferson. We're recording this Thursday morning in case you're listening to the audio version, okay? And that's going to be huge. But as we see, Pat Surtain can complicate things, especially. And what's funny about Denver, this is the Denver side, but like nobody's doing what they want to do. Vance Joseph is not blitzing the way he wants to blitz. He's playing a lot of, hey, you'll be shocked, Bloom. It's the Fangio 6. He's playing a lot of zone and cloud coverage, and he's rushing 3 or rushing 4. He's not blitzing. Vance Joseph doesn't want to do that, but it's working, Anakin. It's working. Sean Payton's not running his offense. Russell Wilson's not doing what he wants to do, but it's working. So now Dobbs comes into town. Like people talking about it's Ty Chandler time. Okay, okay, fine, baby. I love Chandler. It's definitely got speed, better tackle breaking ability than you think. Tight ends will always be complicated for Denver to cover. Although they kind of box and won. They did a basketball thing against Travis Kelce. They boxed and won him, which was really cool. How about the triangle too? But anyway, like, all right, so Minnesota comes on the road. Josh Dobbs is the greatest story, and he could win, and I could be getting an ulcer on Sunday night, losing my mind about the Broncos, whatever. But it's like, this riddle's a little harder to figure out on the Dobbs side of things.
Yeah, I think you're right to say that Denver and their defense and Denver as an organization, I mean, you traced out a really nice psychological arc there, right? And one that maybe everybody can relate to. There's what you want to do, right? There's like, let's get crunchy. Cease like Bruce Springsteen, right? You listen to a lot of Springsteen. When I say Bruce Springsteen, what's your association there?
I don't have a great opinion on Bruce Springsteen, so I better not say it, or else the YouTube commenters will be mad at me. But the thing I can't stand about Springsteen is he's a zillionaire, and all he does is complain about hardworking blue collar people. It's like, mother blanker, I'm blue collar. All right,
Yeah,
I'm blue collar. You can't sing
anymore.
about me. You can't sing about my life. That's nothing but the hard work people out there. I'm sitting on a pile of money. Like, come on, Bruce. Come on. Yeah, I don't have a great opinion on the boss. Sorry.
Well, we could get into an extended discourse about the Bruce Springsteen catalog and Bruce Springsteen's persona and so on. But what I'm getting at is his music, or at least a lot of early catalog, is about a dream, like how we start out as with dreams as teenagers, and we end up with a life that doesn't necessarily resemble the dream, and here we are. Or John Mellencamp, right? Let's do analogies, right? Bruce Springsteen is to New Jersey, as John Cougar Mellencamp is to Indiana, right? Same guy, right?
Yeah.
It's talking about the little ditty about Jack and Diane, right? Life goes on. And if you're the Broncos, life goes on, right? You're not going to be the team that you envisioned, but you are still playing games, and you have to do your best to try to win that game, like we are in our life. That isn't necessarily what we dreamed of when we were teenagers, and they're accepting it. That's why you can relate to this. And Josh Dobbs and the great story, I think you're right, Cease, to say that the best thing to do is to sit back, make him make decisions, make him think, right? And take away Justin Jefferson. We saw Patrick Surtain do an excellent job against Stephon Diggs. Take away Justin Jefferson. Not that if Jefferson's out there, he's in your lineup, but you and TJ Hawkins in your lineup. Jordan Addison, that's a good player to look at. If Jordan Addison has a good game, that probably means that Joshua Dobbs is making valid decisions in the pocket and reacting well to the puzzle that Denver's giving him. And maybe Ty Chandler as a what the heck flex. There's Myles Gaskin. Heck, I'm still interested in Dwayne McBride. Let's get a Dwayne McBride call up from the practice squad, see what he can do with his speed. See what Minnesota, a playoff contending team, by the way. And if Denver can win this one, Cease, you're going to have to be talking about playoff possibilities for them.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Everyone's unhappy, though. The players feel good about how they're rallying with each other, right? But the coaching staff, everyone's unhappy because nobody's doing what they want to do, but they're winning. So it's like, winning and it's working, and it's not how I want to do it. You know what I mean? But it's results-based business. The results for the Broncos have been all Javonte, all Cortland. Mims, you already shut him down. Okay, and then talk about it, whatever. He's special teams player of the week. Yeah, real great return man, a decoy on offense. They are using him more, so maybe, but what are we waiting for? That Russell Wilson's going to throw it 20 to 25 times in their proper strategy, okay?
Right.
So that, and by the way, 11 of those targets are going to be to Cortland Sutton. So
Yeah, and
put a
6 to
pin,
Javonte.
right? Put a pin in Lucas Kroll, like crazy deep dynasty. Please put a pin in Lucas Kroll because he is the guy they wanted Greg Dulcich to be. And there was a big touchdown that Russ didn't. Hey, you'll be surprised. Russ didn't see him, but there was a wide open touchdown last week that didn't go to Kroll because the quarterback can't see because he's not. Anyway, complications. This is actually pretty simple, Bloom. Start Sutton, start Javonte. And maybe my man Chris, our man Chris, FBG Clips, Jedi Sith Lord, he said he's starting Russ over Josh Allen.
I mean, now the flip side of that is, speaking of give it time, Brian Flores' defense started out 0-3, was not going well, and that defense has certainly found itself. So this could be a game of offensive utility. But like you said, Cortland Sutton's in, especially in PPR leagues. Javonte Williams in, he's going to touch the ball 25 times. I don't expect Joshua Dobbs-led Vikings to run away from the Broncos here. And here we go. See which team can overcome early season. It's the early season woes bowl. The woes bowl. Hey, it sounds like Elmer Fudd. It's the game where both of these teams, we were putting dirt on their grave. We were putting dirt on Minnesota's grave before Kirk Cousins got hurt, right?
Yeah,
We put a lot of dirt on the Denver grave already, and the teams are still alive, and the teams have accepted who they are, and we're going to have to accept watching this game on a Sunday night.
Yeah. There we go. Sunday night football. Monday night football. Now this is the snip, snap, snap.
Oh, ding, ding.
Yeah, get ready. I'm going to play them all because this is flipping fantastic. Monday night football, everybody. I said I'd play them all, so here's our greatest hits. Love you, Dr. Jean. Every day, we're looking forward to matchups like this one, Bloom. We're looking forward to Philadelphia and Kansas City. I'm so damn excited. I'm giving the Keanu kiss because it's Eagles and it's Chiefs, and it is a Super Bowl preview rematch. Let's go. Let's do it again. Let's just have all of it. Everything. We want it all. We want all in Eagles and Kansas City. I'm so damn excited. Not like this. No, totally like this. Come on, like this. Right? I said I'd play them all, Bloom.
That's great. 37 minutes. Go to the YouTube, folks. About 37 minutes. Go to the YouTube. If you're just listening to this, go to the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you want. Like, comment, share. But go to 37 minutes because that was fun. Who let Cecil have access to the gift board, right? It's fun. This is fun. This is great. Schedule Makers gave us something wonderful to look forward to here. The Andy Reid Bowl, right? Andy Reid looming large in this game, and what a game! And both teams had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? This is so much fun. Hurts against a tougher defense, Kansas City defense, maybe the stronger side of the ball for them. Look at the Miami game. How did they win the Miami game? Was it their offense that won the game for them? I don't know. Is DeAndre Swift going to be more important in this game? Does he have a little more in the tank coming off a little bit of rest? How important is he? Or is it more Kenneth Gainwell? And it's not so much more Kenneth Gainwell that he's a better running back. It's that when he's on the field, maybe this offense is in a mode. I mean, we saw them push the Minnesota defense back in the DeAndre Swift breakout game the week after. In week 1, he was barely used. And then is it easier to defend this offense without Dallas Goedert? So yes, you have to account for AJ Brown. You have to account for Devontae Smith. But let's see. Jalen Hurts has had some more turnovers this year than he had last year. He had a tremendous, tremendous Super Bowl. But I think this game, unlike the Super Bowl, could be defined more by defense than offense. And see, that includes on the Kansas City side, Patrick Mahomes. I think with flu or whatever. Remember, we saw him shut down by Denver, flu, or even Miami. It wasn't exactly a banner day in Germany for him. So how does Patrick Mahomes look going down the stretch? Again, I look at this game and I feel like the defenses may decide who wins more than the quarterbacks for once.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm gonna be happy on Monday night. Well, I hope to be anyway. But like, I really hope this is like 35-30, 28-27, like something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I hope it's making me smile like the way you smile when you look at Kate Bloom.
Oh, yes. Every time that she is actually she was like she was having the cat wave at me. Because it's fun. Because we got to smile. And again, this one, a lot of fantasy matchups. That's what's cool, right? With these offenses, there's going to be a ton of fantasy matchups at an important time in the fantasy calendar, undecided. And let's see. Let's get it on. Patrick Mahomes, if there's a vulnerability here, the Eagles' pass defense, they had a lot of injuries at linebacker, some different turnover there. So maybe it's a Travis Kelce game. Maybe it's a Jerick McKinnon game. And that's one of the things I'm going to be watching really closely is we saw Jerick McKinnon used more down the stretch last year, league winner in fantasy leagues. And as I said on the couch with Bob yesterday, we already have last year in the most important games, in the most important situations, Patrick Mahomes leaned a lot on Jerick McKinnon. So why wouldn't he do that again this year? Again, linebackers. And couldn't you imagine that? Or maybe just Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco, at the very least, we've seen enough of Isaiah Pacheco to get an indication. Yeah, Kansas City is going to honor their desire to run the ball and make defenses deal with Isaiah Pacheco and his endless energy, where Buffalo has not really set that up. Rashee Rice is another guy I'm interested in coming out of the bye. And this is a player they've already said that the trajectory is he's learning, he's more comfortable, he's ready to do more. He has been getting more snaps. He's getting targets even from the get-go in the red zone. Do we see him really blossom coming out of the bye? And then Travis Kelce with that rest maybe renewed. Certainly so much intrigue here. And my instinct is bet the under. My instinct is this is going to be more of a defensive game. But I do think that for Kansas City especially, we're going to learn a little more about what their blueprint's going to be down the stretch, because it has been underwhelming first half of the year for the offense.
Yeah, the Woes Bowl, though, Bloom. Forget the toilet bowl, right? Because everyone, we got a toilet bowl in our league. Well, we got a Woes Bowl.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, so forget your toilet bowl.
Put it in your bowl of woes. Stuff it in your sorry sack, mister.
Forget your couch. Forget your couch. And I cannot continue that quote. But anyway, forget your toilet bowl. We got a Woes Bowl. What would you get if you won the Woes Bowl? Like a dozen black roses? Or a dozen dead roses?
Tiniest violin in the world. Playing for you.
Okay, it is time for the ever popular I want to talk to Samson. That's right. Fly me to the moon like that. I can't continue any of my favorite quotes. Anyway,
that's okay.
So I
sometimes
get down and get lifted.
The imagination. Mm-hmm. Leave it to the imagination. See, watch some old movies. They used to leave stuff to the imagination, and it was much more psychologically impactful.
Bugs Bunny, a lot of entendres in Bugs Bunny, a lot of adult humor in Bugs Bunny.
It was for adults. I try to tell people Looney Tunes were, and they act that. Do you know that Acme versus Coyote? They're not going to release it, even though it was finished. It was going to be a Looney Tunes courtroom drama.
Really? What the hell, Warner Brothers?
So it's burning down the apartment building for the insurance money. That's what they're doing. And we're not going to get to see a Looney Tunes courtroom drama because of it.
Somebody will leak it. Release the Snyder Cut.
Release
the Coyote. Right. I get not releasing Batgirl because the behind the scenes stuff on that sound like a mess, but not releasing Coyote and Acme and courtroom drama. Anyway. Oh yeah. The ever popular what the heck, Flex? You're looking over your lineup. You need some punch. Now, Bloom, I apologize, because we just talked about this game, but I'm so stuck on Philadelphia and Kansas City because I'm like Jet McKinnon. That's a what the heck flex. On the flip side, Gainwell versus the Chiefs. That's a what the heck flex. We'll go back a little bit further, not much. Addison, you mentioned against the Denver Broncos. What the heck flex. The last time Seattle, when the Rams embarrassed them, they did have him, but they didn't use him. JSN. in. So tune in to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He could be a great what the heck flex for you this week. And can I say his name? Am I allowed to say his name?
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
Against the Giants, baby. Come on.
Nice. Yeah.
Come on. This is Jahan Dotson, baby. Yeah. What the heck flex? Who are some of your week 11 what the heck flexes?
It's rough out there. It's not a great what the heck flex week. Running back Ty Chandler, Rico Dowdle, maybe Rashawn Johnson.
I thought about him. Yeah.
The Bears fall behind, and they have to go into a 2-minute drill kind of offense, Johnson's the running back that'll be out there. James Cook, Latavius Murray will Buffalo establish the run. Darrell Henderson, Royce Freeman. Rams better against Seattle than you think. Wide receiver, I'm including Marquise Brown as what the heck flex because you might look at that one catch from last week and think, oh, am I going back to him? Any number of Green Bay Packers, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. It is the Chargers defense. Rashee Rice, Jalen Guyton, and Quentin Johnston in that Green Bay Chargers game. Jacoby Myers, because if Devontae Adams gets blotted out by one of those outside corners and Aiden O'Connell's having to throw short a lot. I mentioned Khalil Shakir, and we mentioned that we'll be back Sunday afternoon. It's a Sunday night game, so expect us during the afternoon games while that Buffalo Jets saga is playing out. And then do they do anything special on Sunday night out at the stadium? Do they do anything fun? Anything? I'm really impressed that you pulled out the basketball defense reference, by the way. The cross-sport references.
Baby,
it's 2023.
I love basketball. Like the people that have known me, ask Chris in the chat room. Ask Jedi Sith Lord, who's my college roommate. There he is. Like the people that have known me a long, long time, they're like, "You're a basketball guy." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Who's your
Jordan
favorite
era.
basketball announcer? Who's in the basketball game in your mind? Who's calling it?
Who's calling it in my mind? Bill Walton.
That's great. That's a good one.
Please
I love Bill.
get
I
a
love
rebound.
Bill Raftery. Yeah, I'm a big.
You know
Bill
who I loved?
Raftery fan.
R.I.P. is Craig Sager.
Oh
Craig
yeah,
Sager.
yeah.
Not calling the games,
absolutely.
but the sidelines, the suits.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
F cancer. That's all I got to say. And sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
Although Joe, he's not gonna fight me on that one. I could probably say the real word, and he wouldn't fight me on. Well, maybe he would.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, buddy, I totally agree with you on the F cancer stuff, but can you not say the real word, buddy? Sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
it's
Joe.
tough. It's Jim Valvano, right? Survive in advance. But I love absolutely. Cease. My first love in sports was March Madness. That was really what hooked me.
It's the greatest event we get as sports fans. Purely,
I mean, it's anything can happen. Anything can happen, including Bill Raftery saying onions.
I only caught part of that because your internet cut out. Anyway, we're good, baby. We're good. We're good.
Part of the mystery.
All right. And Bill Walton, see, Brian puts it together. Bill Walton, please get a rebound. More like, please get a roach clip.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bill Walton he is the kind of the audible sports announcer, right? Where he'll just go off and forget that he's even at the game announcing the game, and he'll be off somewhere in his mind.
And then he'll talk about Bruce Springsteen or whatever. You know what I mean? For him, it'd be Grateful Dead.
100 some dead
right?
shows. Yeah, he's been to a lot of 600.
Jerry, we need you, man. Like, hi, Brian. Bong. Anyway, yeah, we're done. We're wrapped.
Yeah,
good.
I think so.
We're good? Okay. We get a little crazy, a little crunchy, but you hopefully love us. If not, please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid so you can watch more of what you don't like. Anyway, we hope you like us. We like you. Nay, we love you, and we appreciate your time and attention. You spend time and you pay attention, and we appreciate that currency because it's the most important energy that you all have. He's Sigmund Bloom. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.